Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of FPL Fanzone. As you'll notice, I am celebrating this week as we have hit 100 subscribers on the channel. So a massive thank you to everyone who has liked, subscribed and left comments. For those that are new to the channel, please don't forget to join the FPL Fanzone League. The code is on the screen and I'll leave the link down below for you to join. It's free to join and there is a Premier League shirt for the winner at the end of the season. The current leader is Stanik with over 1,019 points. So if you're up and around that point and think you've got a chance of winning this year, don't forget to join the league. But once again, a massive thank you. 100 subscribers means a huge amount to me as a new YouTube channel. And I wish to continue helping you guys as we continue over the crazy Christmas period to help you get. Don't forget to share the word, leave comments below. Thanks for joining. So let's take a quick look back at what was a very crazy game week 16. There were some shock scores, some drama and fights at the end of games. Red cards after the match. Thanks very much, 8 Nori for the -2. Um, Hall getting 15 points, which was phenomenal. But overall for me, a great result, 58 points, plus 300,000 rank rise. So I'm now up to 2.7 million. Not where I want to be at this stage in the season, but on the rise. So that is a win. I have 2 free transfers, but spoiler alert, I made a rage transfer after 8 Nori's red cards. And I had 1.2 million in the bank. So just have a quick look at the scores here. Flecken in goal with 3 points. Bit of a bad decision there for me. I could have gone with Pickford, who had 8 points with the 0-0 against Arsenal. Surprisingly, Everton have now kept 4 clean sheets in their last 5 games. So certainly a defence to target if you guys are looking at options for replacements in your defence. Then I had 8 Nori, as I mentioned, with the -2. Now, I rage quit and subbed him out after he got a yellow card because he was already on 4 and was going to be subbed for missing the next game anyway. But with him then going crazy after the game and getting red carded, he's still on 4 yellow cards now. So therefore will still have a chance to be miss another game when he comes back. And his price, of course, will start to drop now as his fixtures get significantly difficult. I was hoping that we'd keep him for one more week as they have Ipswich, they have Leicester this week, but that's not going to happen now. He's already gone from my team. Then the hero of the week was Hall from Newcastle, 15 points. A lot of people had him on the bench, but I brought him in, got the 15 points. Really, really happy there. He was the big reason for my green arrow. Gabriel was back. Obviously, he was yellow flagged and we wasn't sure whether he was going to be back. He missed the Champions League last week, but 9 points for him as well. So overall, some big wins in that defence. In midfield, I captained Palmer, who did get a sneaky bonus point at the end. It didn't look like he was going to get that, so a blank there from Palmer. There was also a blank from Saka with only 3 points. Salah should have been the captain of choice, but again, only 1 assist for him, so only 5 points there. No clean sheet bonus. And then Gordon got me 6 points with an assist in their big win at the weekend. Then up front, Wood blanked with 2 points. Pedro blanked again. So since I brought him in, he's done nothing, which is a story of my season if you go back and watch the previous videos. And then Cunha, 9 points. So again, a nice return there for him. He's got one nice fixture left. But obviously earlier this week, he was charged with misconduct and had to respond by yesterday. I haven't seen any updates as to whether or not that's going to impact him or whether there is a suspension. But for those that didn't see it, after the Wolves game, there was a scuffle on the pitch and Cunha stole someone's glasses, which seems ridiculous for a professional, but you know, I don't know what was going on the pitch itself. Then on my bench, as I mentioned, I had Pickford with the clean sheet against Arsenal, 8 points. Roger for 2 points, Kirkes for 2 points, and Anya for 2 points. So it looks like, obviously, if any of those had come in for 8 Nori, I would have had a 4-point swing there. But overall, having Hall in there more than made up for that as well. So let's have a quick look at what my team looks like now going into game week 7. Moving on now to game week 17, and as I mentioned, I rage transferred out 8 Nori after what looked like another blank. It ended up being a -2, and knowing that he was going to miss the last of the easy run for those Wolves fixtures of Leicester away. So At the time, I brought in Timber from Arsenal. Loving the look of that Arsenal defence. They're still struggling a little bit up front, but still got a good run of fixtures. So I just wanted to double up on the Arsenal defence. So currently, my team has Flecken in goal with Nottingham Forest at home. I've got Timber and Gabriel with Crystal Palace away. Hall is still there. He's got another nice fixture with Ipswich away. And then in midfield, I've got Palmer away to Everton. I've got Saka away to Crystal Palace. Salah away to Tottenham, and Gordon away to Ipswich. And then up front, I have Wood away to Brentford, João Pedro away to West Ham, and then Cunha away to Leicester. So just looking at my team at the moment, I have everyone playing away from home apart from Flecken, and he may even change. I'm not going to bring in Pickford versus Chelsea. That Chelsea attack is looking very, very strong at the moment. It's ranked in the top two for attacks in the Premier League. Then on my bench, I've also got Rodgers away to Man City, Kirkes away at Manchester United, and then Aina away at Brentford. So everyone on my team is playing away this week, which obviously makes it a little bit harder to score points. The captaincy choices are not as easy. Do I go differential and pick someone like Acuna away to Leicester or Gordon away to Ipswich over the free premiums of Palmer at Everton, Saka at Crystal Palace, or Salah away to Tottenham? Now, having looked at some of the games this midweek, Arsenal beat Crystal Palace 3-2 in the week in the EFL Cup or the Carabao Cup. Tottenham have conceded a lot of goals against Manchester United. So those defences aren't looking great at the moment. Now, Everton have actually kept 4 clean sheets in their last 5 and I think 6 in the last 9. So their defence is now looking really, really strong. So currently the armband is on Palmer, but that will likely change before the deadline. But let me know in the comments below, guys. Who are you captaining? Who should... So here's a quick look at my defender watch list over the Christmas period. And a couple of things to keep an eye out for here is that over Christmas and over the next 9 days, there are 3 game weeks and actually 4 game weeks in the next 2 weeks time. So you've got to be a little bit careful there in choosing players that are going to be nailed on for 90 minutes and a lower risk of rotation on that. Now, personally, I've already bought in Timber for 8 Nori. That has actually blocked me from getting Isak into my team, so I'm a little bit annoyed that I did that in a fit of rage rather than a more measured approach. But overall, I'm happy to have Timber in the team at 5.7 million and less than 10% owned at only 7.4%. 5 clean sheets so far this season. He's now nailed himself on, given the defensive injuries that Arsenal have at the moment, and with a good run of fixtures with Crystal Palace, Ipswich, Brentford, and Brighton over the next 4, I think there's, nailed on for 90 minutes. There's a couple of clean sheets to be had in there and a potential couple of attacking returns as well, as we saw in the last few weeks. Other options, of course, you can look at that Liverpool defence. Now, personally, I think Trent is overrated and overpriced as an FPL asset. Is he a great footballer? Yes. But as an FPL asset, I think people overhype him based on what he did 2 or 3 seasons ago. And I just think that he's not quite delivering on the numbers, given that he is the highest priced defender in the game and he's not the highest scoring so far. He's also a little bit injury prone, and given the quick turnaround of games over Christmas, there is a chance that he will be rotated for some of those midweek games. So Van Dijk is my pick from the Liverpool defence. 7 clean sheets so far, almost one in every other game. I just think that he's nailed on for 90 minutes and a great choice over the Christmas period. He is the most expensive on this particular list at 6.5 million, and he's already 25% owned. So 1 in every 4 people watching will likely already have him in the team, but certainly one that I would have liked, but I couldn't quite get the money for. Next up was Robinson, and he was a real option for me. And if I'd maybe moved 8 Nori down to Robinson, it would have given me an option to have a bit more money to potentially get to Isak quicker. But at 4.8 million and 19% owned, again, he's quite highly owned in the game. He's got good attacking returns with only 6 assists already this season. Now, the clean sheets haven't been there for Fulham, but they do have Southampton at home, Ipswich, and West Ham in the next five. So there are potential for clean sheets on top of those attacking returns. And he could do something like a Hall and get a 15-pointer in any game week where he gets that clean sheet on top of those attacking returns. So certainly one to keep an eye out. And those Fulham fixtures are certainly looking a little bit better than they have been over the last couple of weeks. Next up, I put it in here, Milenkovic. Now, this could be any of the Nottingham Forest defence. For me, the same, five clean sheets so far this season. They've got a couple of tough games coming up. Brentford away are really attacking, so it's going to be a tougher one for their defence. Tottenham, again, very attacking at the moment, so maybe not in the next two. But if you want someone as a rotation, he looks nailed on for his minutes. He's only 4.6 million, sorry, and less than 3% owned, so a real differential there. And obviously that Nottingham Forest defence is getting clean sheets, even against some of the bigger teams like they did against Liverpool early on in the season. And then the last one is one that's really snuck under my radar. He's the fourth highest scoring defender in the game at the moment, and that's Ashley Young. Now, fun fact, Ashley Young is the only player in FPL history to have allocated all three positions. So previously he was a striker at Aston Villa, he was a midfielder at Manchester United, and is now a defender in Everton. So the first player to be named in all three positions in FPL. He's 4.7 million, only 3.6% owned. And as I mentioned, the fourth highest scoring defender in the game. The other stat that really caught me off guard is that Everton have kept 4 clean sheets in the last 5 and 6 in the last 9. So while they had a terrible start and didn't keep a clean sheet in their first 7, they've kept 6 in the last 9. He's also got 1 goal, 3 assists, and 8 bonus points so far. So realistically, he looks like a fantastic option. He's nailed on in that team. The challenge is the next 2 games are Chelsea and Man City before it getting a little bit easier over that Christmas period. But certainly one on my watch list and maybe one to bring in the new year. But let me know in the comments below, guys. Is there any other defenders that I should be thinking of? Am I missing out by not choosing someone like a 4.0 who's going to be a 5th person on my bench? Let me know in the comments below. Moving on to the midfield, and while most of us now are sitting on the 3 premiums in midfield of Saka, Palmer and Salah, the other 2 spots are still up for grabs and are going to be your differentials in terms of getting points and getting rank rises. Now, currently I'm sitting with Rodgers as my enabler, and then I've got Gordon, who has got a good run of fixtures, at least for the next couple. But having a quick look here in terms of potentially freeing up some of that money from Gordon, here are some of my options that I could use. First and foremost, Enzo and Ahmad have been on a great run of form at the moment. They're super cheap. Ahmad is coming out as a bit of a superstar in that Amorim Man United team. 2 goals, 7 assists already this season. Enzo, 3 goals, 4 assists. And at that price, both of them around sort of the 10% ownerships. They're differentials, but they are quickly becoming noticed given their price and their scoring and assisting assets. One that still stands out to me is Maddison. Now, I brought him in earlier on, and then the week that I brought him in, he got dropped, so he was a bit of a rotation risk. And as I mentioned over this Christmas break, rotation risks are a challenge given the short turnaround and the quick game weeks. But Maddison's underlying stats are phenomenal. 7 goals, 5 assists, 12 bonus points so far this season. He's also got a 0.75 XGI per 90, so almost 1 goal or assist per 90 minutes that he plays. Now, at the moment, as I said, there is potential rotation in there. He did get another couple of goals last weekend, but certainly is one with those underlying stats looks like should be a good option moving forward. Now, of course, unlikely people are going to be bringing him this week with Liverpool at home. But then after that, there are some easier fixtures coming up for Tottenham. So certainly one, again, for me to look out for. Iwobi, again, has been a good run of form. And while it was Smith Rowe at the start of the season, Iwobi seems to have taken over that role. 5 goals, 3 assists so far. And at 5.7 million and only 5% owned, he's a real differential. And he's picking up bonus points. Those fixtures, Southampton, Ipswich and West Ham in the next 5, look like good opportunities for more attacking returns. So if you want to take a chance, he's a good outside punt to continue that form at the moment. And then last one is Bruno Fernandes. And again, during the first 6 or 7 games, didn't really produce at all. Man United were all over the place. Under this new Amorim scheme, it does look like they're starting to find a bit of that more attacking prowess. 4 goals, 6 assists, 10 bonus points so far. He's starting to look a little bit more like the Fernandes of old. He is 8.4 million, so he kind of sits in that really weird spot because there's no one else around that price point unless you've got Odegaard, and 14.4% owned, so a bit of a differential there. Some good fixtures coming up over the next 5, and one that I'm certainly keeping an eye on. Lastly, my forwards watch list over the Christmas period. Now, I really want Isak in my team. Unfortunately, I can't afford him. If I want to get to Isak this week for that Ipswich game, I would need to take a -4 because I didn't think about my defender transfer straight off the bat. So likelihood for me, if I need to get to Isak, I would have to downgrade Gordon and then upgrade Cunha. But Isak, 7 goals, 4 assists, 14 bonus points so far, an XGI of 0.72, a good run of fixtures over the next couple of weeks. And while they look like tougher fixtures, they still look like defences that are conceding goals at the moment. So Ipswich, Aston Villa and Man United are all conceding goals at the moment. So some opportunities there. Wolves in there as well, which are conceding. And got a new manager after Gary O'Neill being sacked earlier in the week. Next up is Cunha now. He's already in my team and he scored again at the weekend, but he has been charged with misconduct after the game when a lot of the Wolves players got into a bit of a scuffle. He was seen elbowing someone and stealing another opposition's glasses from their backroom staff. So he has been charged. I don't know what the outcome of that has been. There's been no flags showing up in FPL at the moment, but there is a real chance that he will be banned in the coming weeks. So certainly one that will be coming out of my team. Obviously Leicester away this week. I'd love for him to be able to play that game because it does look a good fixture for him to get some more attacking returns. And as I said, he's been fantastic since he's been in my team. He's got 8 goals and 3 assists, 19 bonus points already this season. So certainly one that I'll be sad to leave my team. But yeah, as I said, it looks like he's going to be suspended in the coming weeks. Whether or not that's this weekend or for the midweek fixture, I'm not quite sure. Next up is Jackson. This feels more like an achievable target for me to reach at the moment. But again, I would still need to take a -4 in order to get there from Cunha. That Chelsea attack is looking phenomenal at the moment. I think they're number one in the charts for attacking returns. 9 goals, 4 assists. Now, while most of us already have Palmer in our team, this is a way to double up on that Chelsea attack, take advantage of that. He's also picking up the bonus points, so he's sharing them with Palmer. 15 bonus points so far, and a good run of fixtures there. No real standout, difficult fixtures. The Everton defence we talked about is looking good at the moment, but after that you've got Fulham, Ipswich, Crystal Palace and Bournemouth, all of which you should see Chelsea scoring goals. So Jackson is certainly one on the radar for the Christmas period. There is a slight concern with the depth of that Chelsea team, that there will be rotations, especially given the quick turnaround of games. And we've seen them do that in the Europa Conference League. So there is a chance for him to be a rotation risk over the next coming weeks, which is why he's not top of my list on here. The next two here are a little bit more outside the box. I've got Visser from Brentford. And while they've got a tough run of fixtures over the next 5, including Arsenal and Man City, they do have some easier ones in there as well. But 8 goals and 2 assists, he can't be overlooked. He's only 6.2 million and 10% owned. So again, an opportunity there for you to be differential up front. And then lastly is Watkins, who's the most expensive on this list, and so out of range for me, but certainly on my watch list if I'm looking at downgrading some other players. 7 goals, 3 assists, 11 bonus points so far. Man City at home and Newcastle away in the next 2. So one for me and maybe for the future, looking for either the Boxing Day or games afterwards. Let's look at Gameweek 19 onwards. But these are the forwards that are on the radar for me at the moment. Let me know if you guys are looking at anyone else. So lastly, guys, just a little bit of a summary. Obviously, coming into game week 17, over the next 4 game weeks, there is going to be fixture congestion. So 4 game weeks in the next 2 calendar weeks, and actually 3 game weeks in the next 9 days. Um, be careful to pick players that are likely to play all games and play 90 minutes. Think of people like Saka, people like Salah, people like Bowen, for example, that are just going to play every week, and play twice a week without an issue. Try not to rush transfer decisions. I made that mistake this week. As soon as I saw Aina was yellow carded, I knew he was going to be suspended, so I wanted to avoid the price drop. So price drops and rises will happen quickly, but be careful not to rush your decisions and regret like I have this week. Give yourself time. Maybe allow your transfers to roll over. You're going to need them in the new year anyway, especially when the new um, chips come into play. So certainly think about that as well. The next thing as well, while you're over the Christmas period and it gets crazy, start to think about your chip strategy moving into the second half of the season. So for those that you haven't already used your wild card, it will expire on game week 19. That is the last time you can use your first wild card. Everybody gets a wild card reset from game week 20. So from game week 20, we will all have one wild card to use for the second half of the season. The first double game week is projected to come in game week 24 and 25. So the Liverpool Everton game that was postponed is likely to be replayed in game week 24. So Liverpool and Everton will have doubles that week. So it's a good option to consider for either your assistant manager chip, your triple captain chip, for example, even your bench boost, as those if you've got lots of players from both of those teams, and then also start thinking about what you're going to be doing for those that have other chips as well. So for me, I currently have 4 chips that will be outstanding. I'll have the new wild card. I've got my bench boost. I've still got my triple captain. I'll also have the free hit and the assistant manager's chip as well. So there's 5 chips for me to use in the last 18 weeks of the season. So just start to think about what you're going to do, and I will have a video coming up shortly over the Christmas period that will look at my chip strategy and other options that other managers are talking about moving forward. And then lastly, captains for this week. As I said, mine's currently sitting on Cole Palmer. You've also got Mo Salah. Isak is obviously a massive opportunity this week. Again, he's in big form at the moment. They've got another plum fixture playing a promoted side. Haaland, if you've still got him in your team, is so difficult with Haaland. There's got to be a point when Man City turn around. Like they can't keep losing games. That will turn around, and he will be scoring goals again. So he's of course still on my list. And then last but not least, Saka, who gets goals, gets assists, finds a way of being involved in that Arsenal goal threat. And given that we just scored 3 goals against Crystal Palace in midweek, there is a real chance, of course, for him to pick up some goal involvements over the weekend as well. But let me know, guys, in the comments below, who are you captaining this week? As I said, mine is currently sitting on Cole Palmer, but that may change as I get closer to the deadline. Once again, everyone, a big thank you for watching FPL Fanzone. I am over the moon that I've got to over 100 subscribers on this channel and only 17 weeks into the season. My new target now is to get to 150 before the end of the season. So if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell if you want updates over the Christmas period and the short game weeks. And of course, I've got a new video coming out on the chip strategy as well. Hit like if you've been around here before and leave comments below in the channel. And once again, wishing you a fantastic game week 17, and may all your arrows be green.